Dallas takes on New York for the second time this season, this time in their house. Will home field advantage matter for this beat-up Giants team? Dallas looks to take advantage. We'll discuss that and more on today's episode of Noise of the Boys. Cowboy Nation, what is happening? Live and in living color, we bring to you the Noise of the Boys podcast, a Dallas Cowboys Homer exclusive from our studio at HQ1. I am your co-host, color commentator, Matt Longoria, and with me, as always, my right-hand dude sitting to my left, Uncle CTom.
What's up, everybody? Matt and I are just two true blue over-the-top diehard fanatics that come together to help you celebrate those wins, but still find those silver and blue linings in the losses. We are here to make some noise about the boys. How we feeling today, Matt Long?
Man, the week is over. We are recording on a Friday. Looks like this is going to be our staple for the day that we record pre-games, and can't help but feel a little bit excited going into this one. I got a good feeling.
I think all Cowboys fans have a good feeling. If you don't have a bad feeling, you probably live in New York.
Why do we have a good feeling?
Because the Giants are ass.
Aside from that, the Giants are incredibly beat up, whether it is the list of the Cove, in which there's several players out, about 7, if I'm correct.
Yes, they have eligibility to get back, but from what I'm hearing and my sources, it's not looking like it's a very strong possibility. Additionally,
our sources tell us that QB Daniel Jones will be sidelined this Sunday, and Mike Glennon will take his place. And also, Jake Fromm is also anticipated to get some reps, but that remains to be seen. I don't think Mike Glennon is our biggest fan, considering what happened to him last time, but if history repeats itself, as it so does, I think we'll be feeling pretty good after Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, usually for these pre-games, I like to have in-depth analysis, and I like to try to find out who their best players are and who we need to be afraid of. But, this football team, I don't really feel like you guys need me all that much. I think we all can kind of just tell that they're not very good. If we were to lose this game, that would be like when did we lose? 2019? That would be like a 2019 Jets loss all over if we were to lose this game. So, this not a good team, on top of the fact that they're ravaged by injuries and COVID. Cowboys, show up. Don't take this team lightly.
Absolutely. Do not take this team lightly. You don't want to be an any given Sunday statistic for sure. But there is absolutely reasons to be optimistic. I want to start off this episode by going over the injury report in regards to Dallas. We did touch briefly on the New York Giants injury report. But I want to talk a little bit about DeMarcus Lawrence, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Tyron Smith. It looks like D-Law and Zeke are just precautionary moves, so don't fear on that one, Cowboys Nation. Tony Pollard's condition is looking far more favorable than last week, yet he's still been listed a game-time decision, so expect to see Corey Clement elevated from the practice squad. And Tyron Smith, who to thunk it, he's out. 4th game this season. And in other news, Cedric Wilson looks to make his way back from health and safety protocols, although it's unclear whether or not he'll play, but he did test negative for the second time, so he may be available.
Yeah, word from Mike McCarthy is that they're optimistic that he'll make it back, but there's always room for optimism, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is a bulletproof thing. So we're just going to kind of have to wait for Sunday, and we'll just kind of see if Cedric is able to play. But like we've talked about, throughout this season, if there's one position that you can afford to lose somebody, it's going to be the wide receiver position. And as much as we love to have said he's a valuable addition on special teams as far as returning and coverage, and then also he provides a really nice slot option that will change up some looks for us. like I said, that's a position that you can afford to have one person, not multiple, but one person go down.
I think the combination of Ezekiel Elliott and Corey Clement will be more than enough to overcome this Giants defense. So I think as a precautionary measure, it might be safe to sit Pollard out for this one and just get him back to full strength. There's no need to rush him into this one, in my opinion, especially after the showing of Corey Clement. Although it wasn't anything to lose sleep over, it was still an effort that matched Ezekiel Elliott and was enough to put us over Washington, although defense had a lot to say about that one.
With a defense that is as stout as Washington, I mean, say what you will about the Washington defense, but coming into the season, everybody was saying that Washington was going to win the NFC East because their defense is so outstanding. And sure, they didn't have their studs on the outside, but the fact that we were able to find running room in the middle of the field when you've got two guys like they have in the middle of their defensive line, and solid guys that fly around the ball on the defensive side. I think it was 35 rushes for 120 plus yards. That's something to be encouraged by, especially when you don't have a guy like Tony Pollard running the ball. So look for Clement. Hopefully we see some more of him if Zeke isn't feeling himself. This is a get right game for sure. Dallas. Let's kind of get into that though. Like, what are you hoping to see from the Dallas offense? Because obviously they have struggled and they've been having a hard time finding their groove. So what are you looking to see out of this Dallas offense? Like, if you see them score 24 points, are you okay? Or do you need to see like everybody hitting on all cylinders?
Well, I'll touch on this a little bit in my bold prediction and my score prediction. But if there was ever an appropriate time, this is the time for the Dallas offense to bounce back. I mean, look at this beat-up defense. You want to almost treat this as a tune-up game, and obviously don't come up in this game treating any team and taking any team lightly. But look at what we're facing here. Okay, we've got a full-strength, top of the league offense going against the New York Football Giants, who are absolutely depleted right now. It's time to tee off. It's time to get right. And it's time to establish a momentum to take with us into next games, to end the season, and to propel us into the playoffs.
To give you guys some perspective on how beat up they are, they just signed Jalen Smith, and they're expecting him to play. So, if that doesn't give you perspective on the situation for the New York Football Giants, I'm not really sure what else does. For me, as far as the offense goes, I feel like I need to see not necessarily huge plays, but I would like to see Dak in a nice rhythm, putting the ball right in the breadbasket every time. And as far as like what I mean by that is, I don't necessarily need to see him drop it in a bucket for a 45-yard completion. Like, I want to see his accuracy, 10 to 12-yard completions, hit him right on the numbers. I want to see him get his rhythm back. And I definitely want to see Ezekiel Elliott get in a rhythm. This is the game for Zeke to definitely get, the touches that he needs, and hopefully he can rack up some yards and some carries, and he can get that confidence back. Because as much as I love Zeke and he's a warrior, it's kind of felt like the last few weeks, like I've never really seen him like, I don't know, like almost like it's not like he's hanging his head, but you could tell he's almost frustrated or something.
Yeah, and a little funk. I'm sure the injury is bothersome. But the Cowboys look to make it 3 in a row for the second time this season. In addition to an effort from the offense that we think will be extraordinary and in a bounce-back fashion, we need some serious continuity from the defensive side of the ball. They've played well as of late. Everybody knows that unless you live under a rock. Let's look for the defense to make some big plays just as they did in Washington last week. I really, really anticipate them with another huge showing. But they're not going to be in my prediction for this week. So I just expect them to play well. That's just all I have to say about that.
Especially with their quarterback.
Right. And in years past, our defense has absolutely showed some spottiness, some bend don't break attitudes, but this defense has shown promise, and I'm just hoping that they continue to do that throughout this game. I don't even want to have to think about them. I want to be so honed in on the offense and their performance. You ain't got to worry about the defense. They're doing their job. Offense need to go put some points on the board, and not just points. They need to get in the freaking end zone.
Yeah, the red zone offense was pretty bad last week.
I want to say it was 1 for 6 if I remember correctly. Put the ball in the freaking end zone. It's absolutely doable. We have the ability, we have the capability, and the guys to do it and get it done. So I don't have any excuses for the Cowboys in that regard.
For sure. I would like to kind of revisit this Cowboys-Giants rivalry. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, last week our pregame for Washington, we went over our favorites and least favorite moments. I believe I went first last time. You take it away.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the least favorite Cowboys-Giants rivalry game.
There's a lot to choose from.
There's a
lot of heartbreakers,
especially here in recent memory. Cowboys and Giants have had I wouldn't even say decent, I would say a really good rivalry going up until about 2017, 2018 when they really just started to get really, 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 really bad.
It's bad. It's unmatched in 2017. We're 8-0 since 2017, actually.
Yeah, for sure. 2016 was the last time the Giants beat us, so let's not break that streak this week, guys. But as far as least favorite playoff game or least favorite Giants game versus the Cowboys, I've got the 2007 divisional playoff game. Obviously, with Cowboys and Giants, keep in mind, like we said last week, we are younger Cowboys fans, so we're going to be choosing a lot when it comes to this segment. We're going to be choosing a lot of games that are, more so recent. So obviously, you could go back to the 90s. The 90s, the Giants and Cowboys. I mean, those boys would scrap at each other. They were real mean, but I wasn't around for that, so I'm not going to pick anything from that era. So my least favorite is the 2007 divisional playoff game. Giants show up to Texas Stadium versus the Dallas Cowboys. I was actually at this game. This was my very first Cowboys game ever. I was in Texas Stadium. This is the infamous Jerry Jones ticket on the seat game where he put tickets to the
second round
to the next round on the player seats and
conference title tickets.
Jerry, man. I'm sure he wasn't thinking anything of it. I'm sure he didn't think it would the Giants players would find out about it and it would stir up all this crap, but needless to say, it is an infamous Jerry ticket game. Getting into the actual game itself, just a brief rundown. The Cowboys had a monstrous 20-play, 10.5-minute drive in the second quarter that would put them up 14-7. When you have that kind of drive, you're thinking okay, we're really about to take this game over, right? That's not what happened because the ensuing possession, Giants come right back and drive down the length of the field in 42 seconds and tie the game up at 14 as we go into halftime. Not a whole lot happened between halftime and the end of the game. So fast forward late in the game, Cowboys have made plenty of mistakes at this point. They cannot find ways to score points. They find themselves down 21-17. 2 minutes or just over 2 minutes left. The Cowboys defense forced a punt. They got the ball back to the offense. I think they actually got it back at the 2-minute warning. They drive the length of the field. Not necessarily the length of the field, but they get down to the red zone area, and Tony Romo throws an interception, trying to force the game winner as time was beginning to expire. Dallas Cowboys' best season record-wise since 1992 is spoiled by the New York Football Giants. 12-year-old me, heart was crushed. I went home crying. Anybody out there that's not a Cowboys fan listening to this, laugh all you want, but my 12-year-old dreams were broken. Tony Romo was 18 for 36, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not the best game. Marion Barber, 27 carries, 129 yards. My guy Marion the Barbarian went off that day, but didn't really matter. Cowboys lose in the divisional, and they were still searching for some playoff success under Tony Romo.
A story that seems to be repetitive of itself, especially when the Cowboys make it to the playoffs. A first round knockout, one and done.
Shame.
Damn those Giants that year. Mine is a little bit on the brighter side of things. 2015 week 1 against New York Football Giants at home. We host them, of course, in typical Dallas fashion. We go down very, very early with some costly turnovers. One was a dish to Cole Beasley. He's striding. We're trying to put some points on the board before the half. Fumble, takes it all. Rogers Cromartie takes it all the way back for a touchdown. Also, Tony Romo notably throws it behind Jason Witten. He's running up the seam. It's right behind him. He gets a hand on it. Defender, interception. So
Dez was hurt that game, wasn't he? Did Dez Bryant even play?
I don't believe he played because there was a lot of tight end action that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Giants are reeling, man. They're going down the field as time is running out. I mean, the clock is absolutely ticking, and they are on the goal line. A touchdown puts us away for sure, barring a miracle. But we force a third down. We're out of timeouts. For whatever reason, Tom Coughlin calls a pass play, and it just wasn't there. It simply wasn't there. Eli refused to take a sack there. Throws it away. Basically a timeout for the Cowboys. About 1:06 left, if I remember correctly.
They bailed us out.
And then Tony Romo, in one of those miracle fashions, takes us down the field. 11 seconds left. I remember it like it was yesterday. Hiked the ball. He drops it, picks it up, and just finds Witten across the middle. Witten stretches out for that go-ahead touchdown. I'm sorry, it was a game-time touchdown. And eventually we would put it away with the extra point. It just is what it was. And that's got to be my favorite, only because I can't remember any really noteworthy games where we defeat the Giant, and it really mattered. But going into the season where the Giants really, really took us over in AT&T Stadium, that was a big one for us, especially to start the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching that game like it was yesterday too. I was living in College Station, Texas, and I was in college, and none of my roommates College Station, obviously Texas A&M, they all bleed, A&M colors out there. So not a whole lot of attention to NFL football. So I kind of moved in and I kind of taught my roommates the ways like, hey, this is the Dallas Cowboys, man. This is what I'm all about. And that was the first game we watched together. And they did not understand like why I was going so crazy. And then that last drive happened. None of them have ever watched the Cowboys, and all of them just started going crazy. It was awesome. But that's definitely one of my favorite Cowboys-Giants memories for sure.
Yeah, man. Felt really good to get that one. If you remember how that season ends.
Not even the season, just the next couple of games.
Yeah. I mean, we did go 3-0, I believe. But Tony Romo did go down. I think we only went on to win one more, 4-12. Man, unfortunate, especially the way you start.
I think the one that we won is when he came back too.
Yes, he came back.
Didn't he come back for the Dolphins game?
Yes, he had that famous left-handed toss. That was really nice, but
yeah, rough season.
Very much so. I think he came back for a Thanksgiving game. Was that the same year? Yeah, Thanksgiving game against Cam Newton.
Oh yeah, man!
And
they destroyed us.
4 interceptions.
Oof!
I was pissed.
They went to the Super Bowl that year, right?
They did, and dropped it to Denver.
Very, very good football team that season.
So let's move forward. I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. And look,
you can tell we're spinning our wheels here, searching for content.
Really, really searching here. But guys, again, this isn't a team to take lightly. They're still in the NFL, okay? If there's any message I can send to the Cowboys is don't be a stat. Go in and take care of business like you're supposed to, like everybody expects to. What's the spread? Get a research on the spread here. I'm really interested to know. While he's pulling that up, I will go right in to my expectation, my bold prediction. My bold prediction is going to be just that, bold. I expect Dak Prescott to come out. I expect him to play well, and so well that my bold prediction is Dak Prescott will throw for over 400 yards.
Oof.
And he'll throw 3 touchdowns.
Oof. I mean, maybe if we had Blake Jarwin back, the giant killer, but man, that is a bold prediction. I've got the spread here. Before I get to my bold prediction, Dallas in New Jersey, Dallas in MetLife is favored by 10.5.
Which, the home team automatically gets 3.
That's why I was like, oof, man. Obviously, Vegas doesn't think too highly of the Giants, so I don't really feel that bad anymore. We've got a 70% chance to win this game. and a 0.2% chance to tie. So thinking the Cowboys are going to pull this one off, and I do not think it'll be close if history repeats itself, but we will get to that, and I'm sure that Cowboys Nation, you guys know what our score predictions will probably look like. But my bold prediction for this game, I think that Micah Parsons is ready to solidify himself as Defensive Player of the Year, and I think that Micah Parsons is going to pick off a pass from Mike Glennon if he's even still in the game at that point, because he's probably either going to be injured. Now let's not hope for an injury, but I feel like it's going to be a very long day for Mike Glennon. Wow. I really do. I think that it's gonna be another high sack total day for the Dallas D line. So let's hope that he doesn't get injured. That
was a bold prediction within a bold prediction.
Yeah, there you go. But I think that if Mike Glennon's still in the game, Micah Parsons is gonna pick him off and take one to the house, and that's going to solidify Defensive Player of the Year for him. That's my bold prediction. The reason it's a bold prediction is because, one, he's a linebacker, and two, he primarily is rushing the passer. But if he gets that, man, like, how can you deny?
My man Micah is going to make his presence felt for sure.
How can you deny it, though? You know, like, if he gets a pick six against a division opponent,
right?
How can you deny?
I don't know what necessarily stands in the way of Parsons making his case for closing his case for Defensive Player of the Year.
I really just think it's because he's a rookie. If he was in his second season, I don't think it would be close, and I think that's stupid.
And it hasn't happened since Lawrence
Taylor.
Yeah, so this would be a very, very historical year for that young man. So hats off to him for his performance thus far, and crossing my fingers for him. I think he fully deserves it.
And that's why I'm thinking that if Micah gets this pick six, you know, I feel like he's really going to have to do something to seriously distance himself from the rest of the pack, and a pick six would be that.
Yeah, I just think that he's done a lot to make more of an impact on the final score of the game, as opposed to his basically the people that are also in contention for Defensive Player in the Year. But that's just my homer opinion, though. So it is what it is. We'll move right into my score prediction. I told you guys, Dak will bounce back, as I've been telling you for the last 3 weeks. Dak will bounce back in this Giants game, and he will lead the Cowboys to another route. And I'm playing conservative here. Okay. 35-10. Oof. Dallas wins.
See, I don't even think that the Giants are going to get a touchdown. I mean, how can you deny it? I mean, seriously.
I'm playing conservative.
This team is not good, y'all. And I'm
at full strength. They're not good. They're beat to hell right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is, man. Yeah, not looking good for them. But as far as my score prediction goes, I think that the Cowboys are going to run wild on them. I know you're thinking that Dak's going to, throw for a lot. I think the Cowboys are going to try to use this to try and get their run game back in a rhythm, because if that run game gets back on a rhythm, I feel like the Cowboys kind of have this like, they're kind of like, well, if we get the run game going, we know that our receivers are good enough. We know that Dak is good enough. They're going to figure it out. So I think that the Cowboys will use this game to get Zeke and Clement and possibly Pollard if he's a go. I think they try to use this as a way to get them in a rhythm. I also think that they're going to sit down Connor McGovern this week. At least that's the buzz talk at least, and that's what I'm hoping for. Connor McGovern is just we were hoping that he would play, but he's just not the solution. Like, let's be honest. With all of that being said, I think the Cowboys run wild. I've got a little bit lower of a score, but I don't think that the score will be indicative of the way that the game plays out. I've got the Cowboys winning 27-9.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think they're both very fair, depending on how you look at this game and what you anticipate. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be spinning our wheels not much longer. Comment below your score prediction and your bold predictions, please. We really are interested to know what you think is going to happen in this game. So comment below. And you know what's even more free than commenting? Hit that like button. Smash it. Also, subscribe and activate that bell button so you can be the first to know when an episode of Noise of the Boys drops. It's all absolutely free, as it is to view our videos on YouTube and listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you've made it this far, we want to thank you for your time and attention and hope that you've learned something of value here in the last half hour. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and activate that bell button so that you can be the first to know when a new episode of Noise of the Boys podcast is dropped. And with that, we are out of here. Matt Longoria and Uncle CTom, and we'll see each and every one of you for the post-game report.
Peace!